right, so I am back with another video, something quick I wanted to discuss, and there's really no rhyme or reason to these videos as to when I put them out. It's just whenever I think of something that I feel is worth sharing. And this idea I was actually just gonna write out and post, but I decided that turning into a video could be even better. So, um, 2020 is thankfully almost over. We have just over 60 days, 70 days left, and um, even though this has been a year that has kicked us in the face, disappointed us, or at the very least just left us bored as anything, um, the time during this year is still valuable. Uh, and the last thing we want to do is not make most of the time that we have left. Um, when it gets around close to Halloween, I know a lot of us tend to check out. You know, we got Halloween plans, whatever you're doing for that, and then uh, Thanksgiving, and then Christmas and New Year's, and we kind of get in the mode of we're gonna get through these holidays and just start fresh in the new year. And I mean, the truth is, there's really no reason to wait for that. There's no point in just letting the next 2 months, 9 weeks, just slide by without really putting in the same amount of effort we would any other time of the year. And by effort, I mean effort on ourselves, effort on improving ourselves or taking one step closer to our goals, whatever those happen to be. So, the main idea for this video is to not let another week go by without improvement, um, and to set up a plan for this week that we're in, so that when you get to Saturday and Sunday, you can look back and see that you've made some progress, taken some steps toward whatever your self improvement goals happen to be. Hopefully, you have some, because we all need work. So hopefully, uh, myself included, absolutely. So hopefully, all of us are working on ourselves in some way. So I wanted to encourage you to focus this week, and to do that. Um, One thing we're going to do is choose one aspect, one part of your life, one part of yourself that you need to improve by the end of the week, or at least maybe not necessarily improve this aspect, but take steps, realistic steps toward improving. My suggestions would be um, one habit you want to create, or at least start creating. It's kind of hard to create a habit in 1 week, but start working on creating that habit, or the opposite, one habit you want to start to get rid of toward the end of the week and make some progress towards that. Um, if there's a subject or a technique, a certain skill that you're learning, maybe it's involved with work, maybe it's involved with a personal hobby, or maybe it's just something else entirely that you want to get better at. You want to learn a new language, which I'm doing right now. I'm going back to studying Spanish for no particular reason, then I just want to do it. But if there's another subject or a technique that you want to get better at, that you want to improve on, um, or get a better understanding of, and have measurable progress at the end of the week, uh, or a part of yourself that you want to have a better understanding of, um, self awareness, um, just getting to know things about yourself, things about how you feel, get a better handle on your emotions, get a better handle on your mentality, um, better understanding of how you think, how you react in situations, just any aspect of self awareness, really, and mindfulness that you want to make steps towards by the end of the week. Um, and lastly, maybe there's a part of your daily routine that you just want to improve. Maybe you want to um, go to bed on time. Maybe you've been struggling with that, or start to get up early so you can have more time during the day. So maybe you start setting your alarm, 10, 15 minutes earlier, just so you can start, creeping to whatever time would work for you, but taking steps toward that. And I'm going to share what my suggestion, not my suggestion, but what my choice is for this week. I'm going to be watching a lot less TV this week. And by TV, of course, I mean streaming Netflix, because nobody's really watching TV. But I, my reason for that in particular, not that you really need a reason to watch less TV, but in my case, I don't really watch television um, I don't really watch television just by itself. I watch TV while I'm doing work, or while I'm cleaning up, or while I'm cooking. Maybe I'm fulfilling one of my orders and I just have it on in the background. So it's not really taking time away from other things necessarily. It's not really harmful for the most part. But I've I'm coming to realize that watching television is taking away from me getting used to being alone and things being quiet. And part of the deep work I'm trying to do on myself right now is taking advantage of all the alone time that we have this year, but then also purposely taking alone time and time to myself to, work to figure out the issues that I have that I'm unaware of, just to become more self aware and to start doing the work on those issues, and to really get to know myself better, and know my triggers, know what sets me off, know what things I need to work on. And part of that is just being able to be by myself without that noise, without that energy, without that atmosphere that most of us are creating with the TV in the background. It's harmless essentially, but it's still not letting us get used to just being alone, and things being quiet, or at least not being alone and not necessarily being entertained. Um, so that's one of the reasons. And then another reason is just to give my brain more space to think. Because even if I'm doing something else while the TV is on, the television is still taking up some space in my brain. It's taking up some mental energy. Whatever part of my brain is not focused on the actual task that I'm doing is focused on whatever's on TV, whatever's on Netflix. And that little piece of energy could be better used for something else. I could be thinking about what I'm actually doing. Maybe there's another idea I have for the project that I'm working on that I'm unaware of because part of my brain is watching TV, or maybe there's just something else entirely that I could be thinking of, let's say while I'm cooking, or while I'm folding clothes, or, whatever else, cleaning up, just something useful I could be thinking of, something productive I could be thinking of, instead of letting the extra energy that I'm not using just be distracted and sucked up by the television. Uh, or maybe there's something else informative and helpful that I could be watching instead. The internet is full of stuff, especially if you're talking about like self help, self awareness, anything along those lines. YouTube has tons of interviews and speeches and talks, sermons. I could be watching a church service instead of watching Netflix. So basically, I just want to find other things to do with that time and that mental energy. So that's why this week I am choosing to watch a lot less TV. And I'm very interested in knowing like what developments come from that and what awareness, what other things I find, what other things I find to do with my time, like making this video. So that's what I'm doing. You have my suggestions. And what I want you to do is once you have your choice of the area you want to work on, you have to write that down because that's what makes it a contract with yourself. If it's just a thought in your head, something you want to do, that's kind of easy to break because it's not real. It doesn't register that you've actually agreed to do it. It's even if you think that you're going to do it, until you write it down, it's still just something you're thinking about doing. But you write it down and it's a contract. And then you get to the end of the week and you haven't done it. You look back and it's actually something that you haven't done. It's written down and you didn't follow through. So you write it down and then decide what steps you're actually going to take. How and when and actually what you're going to be doing throughout the week to get closer to whatever that goal is. With me in television, I basically set up a time during the day that I'm not going to watch it, which isn't easy because I'm working from home. So one of my favorite things to do is just to put the TV on while I'm working, especially if I'm doing something tedious. But now I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to have to find something else to do with my brain while I'm doing that work. And so when you write down the goal you're working toward, then you write down how and when and exactly what you're going to do to work toward it. And that way, when you get to the end of the week, you can look back and you can see exactly what you did and exactly how much closer you are to that goal than you were right now watching this video. And then, of course, what we want to do is not to just stop at the end of the week, to look at the following week and then see how much closer we can even get at the end of that week, and so on and so forth. And hopefully that just builds momentum, toward the end of the year. And then when we get to the end of the year, instead of planning to start fresh, you can get to the end of the year and celebrate everything you did for the past 8 or 9 weeks. So hopefully that's what this turns into. But for right now, let's just focus on this week, what you want to work on this week, what you want to look back and have improved upon, the steps that you've taken throughout the week. And so you can look back and see the progress you made from right now till this weekend, till Saturday and Sunday. And if you'd like, please feel free to share the things that you want to work on or the steps you want to take. I'd be happy to encourage you, and happy to share that with you, and happy to put my own experience on there as well, and we can just go back and forth and encourage each other, and share what we're going through and share how we're progressing, how we're working to improve ourselves. So hopefully you guys take my suggestions and you can go on this short week of improvement with me, and hopefully by the end of the week we'll have some good news to share. All right, I'll see you next time.